Dear all, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate that so many people here is interested to know more about VIP and our products. And then a warm-hearted thanks to the Morikasa team, Mr. Mao, the way you have welcomed to Taiwan and the way you have invested both your heart and your money in VIP is really appreciated. Thank you so much.
谢谢大家今天的光临来支持我们 VIP 的发布会。那也很感谢深卡萨所有团队和毛先生对我们这个品牌的支持跟努力，花了很多心思。这几天真的非常的成功，一切都是感谢团队的努力。
We know that Denmark is a long way from Taiwan. It takes almost more than half a day to come here with a plane. But when you arrive here and step into this room and the Morikasa organization, you almost kind of feel at home. So our cultures are different, but we share a lot of values and beliefs around aesthetics and functionality. So it's very special for us to be here. We have a lot in common.
所以其实丹麦离台湾很远，坐飞机至少要15个小时以上。但是当我们来到台湾的时候，跟深卡萨所有团队，我觉得我们发现我们在某些的设计价值跟品牌的理念上面是很内核、契合的。所以我们很高兴今天可以再跟大家分享我们的品牌概念。
VIP is a family-owned company, which means that we're very long-term in the way we think and operate. We know that it's probably going to take time to bring out the story of VIP, but at least you guys will be the first to hear it today. And please, if you have any question while we speak, let us know, because we'd like to hear your opinion. Okay?
所以 VIP 是一个家族企业，那我们也已经在这个行业里面深耕了很多年，所以等一下大家如果还是有什么建议或是问题的话，也很欢迎跟我们执行长跟设计总监这边做提出。
The company was started in 1939.
所以我们的企业的话是在1939年的时候就创立了。
And this is a picture of my grandparents. My grandfather was a metal turner, and my grandmother was a hairdresser.
所以这是执行长的外公外婆，那他的外公是一个钢铁的技师，那外婆是一个发廊的老板娘。
This picture is from the opening of my grandmother's hairdressing salon. On the picture here on the right, you see her phone number there, right? And there you see the first product that my grandfather established his company around, a trash can. And a trash can, what a silly thing to start a company around. And what a silly thing to sell for almost 80 years.
所以其实这张照片是1939年他外婆的发廊店，那时候外公就是想要为外婆的发廊店设计出一个脚踏的垃圾桶。
The picture shows my grandfather's little workshop. It says Metal Factory, and his name was Holger Nielsen. That's where he made the first bin.
那这个是外公的一个小小的钢铁工厂。那我们第一个垃圾桶就是在这里生产的。
This is what the first one looks like, and this one is actually a different model. So can you take the one on the lowest shelf? That one, yeah. It's a little more similar. See, not many things will stay almost the same for 80 years. Think about how many years that is in terms of change. Yeah, there it's almost similar.
所以这是第一代1939年第一代的垃圾桶。那这是我们现在今天的开发出来的垃圾桶，所以你在外观上面并不会有太大的改变。我们一直都还是保有原有的那个复刻的设计。
But it's our highest ideal and the principle we work on. If we can make something that is really well thought out and it can last for many years, it's a way to justify the investment in an expensive product. So whether it's a kitchen or a lamp or a rack system or a salt and pepper grinder, it has to live up to the same standards, that you can use it for a long time and you don't get tired of it.
所以其实我们想要设计的是一个永续性的设计，让你可以一直珍惜它、爱护它、保有它，一直到很多很多年之后。那这个不止在垃圾桶上面可以看到，像我们的小小的家饰品，甚至研磨罐啊，到刷子，都是希望是有一个永续性的概念在里面的。
Okay, my name is Morten, and I have been a designer at VIP for 11 years, and therefore been involved in most of the products you see here in the shop today.
所以这是我们设计总监，他在11年前加入了 VIP 的设计团队。那现在大家所看的这些家饰品、厨具、各式各样小东西，都是来自他的设计。
And I believe I even feel even more at home today, since this is my actual home back in Copenhagen.
他今天觉得好像回到家了，因为这边的这张照片其实是他自己的家。
Holger on the picture there, Casper's grandfather, is what I believe probably the best friend I never met.
所以其实这是创办人，也就是执行长的外公。那设计总监这边他相信他这位创办人是他从未谋面最好的朋友。
And Holger is, even though he's dead, he holds a huge importance to everything we do, even today.
所以虽然创办人已经往生了，但是这边所有的商品的设计都是为了要去纪念我们的创办人。
As Casper mentioned, the original bin is from '39, and if you look to the right, there's a contemporary bin, the one we had on the tabletop before. And if you can imagine how many different fashion trends and tendencies that have been on the market for all these years, and still the bin is still the same, and probably even stronger design-wise today.
所以其实今天我们可以看到各式各样的对关于垃圾桶的设计，有很多不同样的款式。但是像我们从第一代1939年这一款，一直到2017年最新的这一代的版本，其实在外观上面真的没有做太大的变化，甚至在功能性的话，它还是就是回归到最初的实用性的，对消费者方便的实用性。所以这才是对我们来说最经典、最永恒的设计。
And we're extremely proud of this, and this is why we have the ambition of creating objects that you can keep for many years. Something that is not only of good quality material-wise, but also something that is really nice to look at for your eyes.
所以其实我们可以很有自信的说，我们商品是可以让你用20年、30年、40年以上，然后在外观上面对眼睛来看起来也是很舒服的商品。
And this is a completely different context. This is a car. This is a Porsche 911. And we like to show you this picture because in many ways we share the same philosophy. The idea of spending a lot of time, a lot of passion, a lot of energy into creating just one product in each category that we believe is the best one in the category.
所以设计总监要跟我们分享他其中一个灵感来源就是保时捷的911。他觉得你要一个设计师可以那么专注的在设计一样东西，让它变成经典永恒的设计，从最小的细节到体积最大的外观，都可以一直延续下去。
So although we are very humble, we try our very best to create the Porsche 911 of each product in every category.
所以我们还是很谦虚，但是我们总是希望说，不管我们哪一个商品，它其实都是在那个领域的911。
And we actually take pride in not being too trendy, not too involved with what's going on right now in the fashion industry and in the design industry.
所以其实我们不追求流行，我们也不追求潮流，我们只希望很自豪的可以告诉自己说，我们会成为经典。
Because we clearly believe that you should invest in products. They might be fairly expensive, but it's okay as long as they hold for a very long time.
所以我们相信，只要投资到好的东西、好品质的东西，就算它的投资是下得很重，但是我 会相信在未来它可以带给我们很久的方便性。
And this is a different example on how we think about design a bit. Design is not only about how things look, it's also a lot about how it feels when you hold it in your hand, how it sounds, and how the functionality is when you use it.
所以这又是另外一个灵感来源，就是我们徕卡相机。那对设计总监来讲，在设计东西的时候，不是只有它外观而已，还有它握在手上的重量，甚至你在使用它发出来的声音，那个触感是什么，都是很重要的。
Because if we think back to 1939 when Holger created the bin for Marie, he basically created a tool to ease her everyday life. So the word tool is very important for us.
所以其实回到1939年，当创办人在帮自己心爱的老婆做一个垃圾桶的时候，其实就只是想要帮他提供一个他在发廊可以方便他清洁的工具。所以工具这一个词，其实对我们品牌所有的理念是非常重要的。
So this approach to design and approach to product development, we've used a kind of like a philosophy to create a whole line extension of products that you see here today.
所以刚才讲的都是一些我们品牌概念跟一些设计的方向。那现在跟大家分享一下我们的商品。
And one of them that we like to show you to illustrate our philosophy is something as unsexy as a dishwashing brush.
所以想要跟大家分享这么一个平时的刷子，每天都会看到的刷子，我们的设计。
And you know the dishwashing brush is something you often buy in the grocery store or the supermarket, and once it's worn out after a month or two, you throw the entire product out.
所以其实这个在超级市场，我们大家都可以去买一个碗盘刷，那可能很便宜，那只要用脏了，我们可能就整只丢掉。
But at WIP, we would like to look at how can we make the experience of dishwashing a little better than what already exists out there.
所以我们追求的是一个永续性的商品感受，所以我们希望我们在设计上面是不是可以做什么样的改变，让一个这么平时的商品可以一直重复的被利用。
So we created a product where you only throw out the part of the product that is worn out, which is the head, and then we spend a lot of time and energy into making the handle itself much more nice, and we molded a 3mm stainless steel with rubber to protect the glass and to give it this weight that gives it a tool feeling.
所以其实刷头的部分的话，如果弄脏或者已经旧了、肮脏了，就可以直接拔掉丢掉，我们可以再替换新的。那我们花了很多时间是在把手上面的设计，我们把手上面用了3公厘的一个不锈钢，给它一点重量，让你感受到它的一个价值感，不会随便把它丢掉。再加上橡胶的包覆，让你在洗碗盘的时候不会碰撞到你一些很细致的瓷器等等。
Our salt and pepper grinders are different examples of the same philosophy, because it's not only about how the grinder looks, it's also about how it feels when you hold it in your hand, and not least is it about how it sounds. So we spend quite a lot of time on refining the sound of it.
所以这是我们的研磨罐，我们花了很多时间在开发这个商品，所以对我们来讲，商品的外观很重要，没有错。但是像商品会发出来的声音，到你使用上，在手上的重量，这些都让我们提醒我们这个商品的价值感在哪里。
And it's all basically done to enforce that feeling of a great product.
所以这些价值感就会让你觉得说，这个东西是一个好的商品。
We've done lighting as well. 5 years ago, we launched a series of lamps, and you'll see them throughout this store. But what I want to mention here is also our pretty excessive focus on craftsmanship.
所以我们在5年前也开始设计灯饰的部分。那主要灯饰的话，也想要跟大家说，其实我们真的很注重细节上面的设计，大家等一下可以去摸摸看。那在设计以外的话，当然工艺也是最重要，要怎么样用好的工艺在达成这细致上面的设计。
How a product feels, how it moves, how the parts connect, what they're made of. We're very obsessed obsessed with that. And in many ways, you can say that it's a little inspired by the Swiss clock industry.
所以其实我们的灯是有点像是瑞士表一样，它有很多小零件、小细节，甚至有很多的工序要去执行。
And I think by working with design in this way, with this approach, over the years, when launching more and more products, we have kind of established a language of design, which you see very clearly when you place the products next to each other.
所以我们有很强烈的设计理念跟品牌历史，我们在未来就是做了这么多的家饰品，其实它都变成为一个系列、一个家庭、一个品牌的 DNA。